going to be something we're just going to have to continuously manage to ensure that, Israel and Lebanon are both safe and secure. The big problem is that you have somebody will shoot and then somebody will respond, and you kind of have a chicken and egg problem where you just got to stop the siege for long enough to get the ceasefire to hold.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, and thanks for choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and me, Double T, and you're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. We really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out. Also, if you could, please make sure to hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, smash the notification. It's a quick, easy, and free way just to help the channel grow as big as possible. Double D, I feel like Trump's getting to a point where he's done talking.
It appears to be the case, Bert. I think he's ready to say put up or shut up, or more like come to a deal or we're going to blow you up.
Right. So you sent me this earlier. Break this down just a little bit before we get into it.
Okay, well, basically, Iran is playing their games again. Okay,
Typical.
It's typical. It's well, they've already closed the Strait of Hormuz again. And I don't know if you've noticed, but gas prices have been going down all weekend.
Yeah,
now they did this
$3.49.
Yeah, but you can expect in a couple of days now we're going to feel the closing of the Hormuz again. Now, do I think it's going to stay that way? No, I think it'll be back open by the end of the week, but I think it is still going to be back and forth. Now, real quick, the Switzerland thing on Friday, did the signing ever happen?
I don't believe so.
I didn't believe so either. I thought that ended up just kind of getting kaput. So
yeah.
And I'm not surprised. I mean, this time last week we were pretty much.
So it's getting to the point, Double D, where Trump's actually threatening Iran that we're just going to take over the Strait of Hormuz and we're going to start charging people tolls to get this taken care of and get this all done and over with.
I mean, honestly, Bert, I think that might be the best alternative at this point.
Right.
I know that's not what anybody wants. Nobody wants to occupy the Strait of Hormuz, but I mean, the options are getting really low. You know what I mean? I'm not really sure what other things we can do at this point, because negotiations, it works, then it don't work.
It seems to be nothing but a stalemate at this point. So Fox News did a little talking about it. Let's hear what they had to say.
Vice President Vance and U.S. negotiators are in Switzerland for the first round of nuclear talks with Iran. This as Hezbollah and the Israeli Defense Forces exchanged fire in Lebanon this weekend. Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey.
Yeah, hey, Peter, good morning. High-level diplomatic talks are taking place today in Switzerland, aimed at solidifying the Memorandum of Understanding and entering into the next phase of negotiations. This comes as Iran's IRGC says they have closed the Strait of Hormuz. I spoke earlier with President Trump for more than 20 minutes, and he responded to that threat from the Iranians, saying that he spoke with Iranian officials overnight and told them, you close it and you won't have a country. He went on to say if they don't make a deal, we'll collect tolls. We may take over the strait if we have to. The president says the U.S. could become the guardian angel of the strait and the Middle East and take 20% of the oil. The strait, along with Iran's nuclear program, remain the focus for talks in Switzerland. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian spoke today from Tehran, laying out a new red line for the regime in this next round of discussions.
Before we get into it, can we just say J.D. Vance more and more is looking like 2028 president?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. He's definitely
he has it all.
He's the whole package, bro.
He has all. Charismatic. He has the talk. He can negotiate. He can debate with the best of them. He can win. He went over The View. He literally won over Troy Behart.
I just wanted to say that.
He won over the devil.
Yeah, she basically told him behind backstage, I guess, or whatever, that he should run for president for the Republicans. And of course, she said in her interview, I wouldn't vote for him, but she was bedazzled by Vance.
No, for sure. Yeah, I see Vance definitely making a strong push for a 2028 run.
When do you think he's going to announce it? I know it has nothing to do with today's subject, but you
Not
know what?
till
He's going to
closer to the end.
inherit. He's going to inherit all of this. So
Yeah,
at some point.
not till closer to the end. I wouldn't. I would. He. I know. I know that JD doesn't want to take away from what Trump's doing right now. He doesn't want any of the. He wants it all to just Trump to get done with and worry about that. We're not worried about. We can't worry about 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now. But to me, it seems like right now he's putting in his ticket for 2028.
Oh, I agree with that. But I do hope that they can figure out this Strait of Hormuz thing and this Iran thing before the November elections, because I would certainly hate to have to see JD Vance going into a situation where the House and possibly the Senate, are Democrat by 2028. That would be a really hard situation for him. So it'll be a stalemate for him if that happens. I mean, will it happen? Probably not. I think we'll work this Iran thing out. I hope so.
Yeah.
But after hearing what this leader said earlier today, it also makes me wonder. So I guess let that clip roll. We'll let the audience decide.
We will not give up our right to enrichment. And they, too, will be forced to accept it. You all know what the so-called President of the United States was saying. He had made a complete 100-degree turn. He was saying that Iran must surrender unconditionally. Iran has no right to do this. It has no right to do that.
President Trump.
So here, time out for a second. Time out. I'm not sure what he means by that. What do you mean they have, they have no right to do this? They have no right to do that?
Well, he's talking about they have no right to enrich uranium. That's basically what he's saying.
Okay, that's what I thought he was getting at, but first of all, he also refers to President Trump as the so-called president, which to me seems like if you're trying to negotiate with this guy right now and you do want the ability to have nuclear power, I don't think he's going about it the right way.
Not at all.
I think he's gonna push Trump into dropping the bomb on him. That's what I think.
I think so too.
Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian saying he better watch his mouth, he better shape up, or we'll take over the rest of the country. The president also spoke about Lebanon, where 5 Israeli soldiers were killed by Hezbollah in the course of 48 hours over the weekend. The Israelis responding with heavy airstrikes across southern Lebanon. Now, President Trump posted to Truth Social this morning saying Iran must immediately stop their highly paid proxies in Lebanon from causing trouble. If they don't, we'll hit Iran very hard again, just like we did last week, only harder. Iran continues to try and tie the situation in Lebanon to the broader memorandum of understanding with the United States of America. Well, now President Trump is doing the same. Peter?
Trey, thank you. For more, let's bring in Fox News contributor and host of the Hugh Hewitt Show, Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt.
I got to ask you about this news overnight. Strait of Hormuz closed. Now what?
Well, I think what the president posted and Trey just referenced on Truth Social this morning, they've got to pull back Hezbollah and they've got to open the Strait of Hormuz, or we'll be back to the bombing. Now, I'm not one who put any faith in this MOU anyway, Peter. I think it's a letter of intent in real estate terms. Doesn't bind anyone. You might continue talking, but they're not going to bring back Munich in 1938 from Switzerland. I don't think the vice president's going to do that. I don't think special envoys Witkoff or Kushner are going to do that. I don't think the president will let them do that. So I actually believe we're in halftime of the battle, the current battle. Tomorrow marks the 1-year anniversary of Operation Midnight Hammer, when the president ordered the Fodor facility completely destroyed. And in that year, we've seen Iran terribly shaken. They massacred 40,000 of their own people, and they've been pummeled for 6 weeks. I think they're going to want to strike a nicer tone with everyone if they want to get out.
Hey, for real though, here's my thing, Double D. Why do people care so much what we're doing in Iran when they kill their own people anyway?
Yeah, they definitely do that. And we're talking about on the radio again on the Clay and Buck show this morning. They were talking about the conversion process of people actually returning back to the kind of government they had before 1979. I wouldn't exactly say it was a democracy, but it was certainly more democratic than it is today.
Yeah.
And they were pointing out the fact that there's still 40% of their country, 40% of the country in Iran is still very, very, very much into the idea of the Ayatollah and into the Sharia law and that whole, well, I guess, what are those, Sunni Muslims or Shiite Muslims?
Yeah.
I forget which ones they are. But anyway, old school Muslims, Orthodox Muslim rule, Sharia law, bottom line.
Right.
Whether it's Sunni, whether it's Shiite, I don't know enough about Islam as far as that goes to know who is what between the two.
Right.
But I can say this, 40% of their population still wants it to stay the way it is.
Yeah.
So then you got to figure maybe 20, 30% more, maybe even 40% want democracy.
Right.
And then you've got those 20 or 30% who are still sitting on the side of the road. So really you're doing more than just convincing the Iranian leadership. You got to convince the Iranian people too. And I think the only thing that works for them is continuous bombing.
Out of this jam,
It's the only thing they understand.
falling apart. They
Seems
may
like that's how it's going to have to
closed the
be.
strait again. That will not lead to anything productive for them, but probably a return to bombing.
Right.
Ditto Hezbollah
Hello.
in Lebanon.
And Hugh, nobody knows that is watching this, but I was waiting in Switzerland for the vice president this week, and he stood me up because we figured at the time this is just like a no-win situation for Vance, right? If the deal works, conservatives are mad that he's the face of it. If it doesn't work, the president is mad. But the VP,
I don't that doesn't make sense to me. Like, if the deal works, we're happy. We want the deal to work. We want the bombing to be over with. We want the war to stop. We want all this to keep going, and we want to get this country back on track where it needs to be. I don't understand what Peter Doocy was saying by that. Maybe I'm mishearing him or something.
Let's listen to it again. Let's see what he had to say again. Let's listen to it one more time. Because you know what? I'll be honest, I'm not sure either.
Hugh, nobody knows that is watching this, but I was waiting in Switzerland for the vice president this week, and he stood me up because we figured at the time this is just like a no-win situation for Vance, right? If the deal works, conservatives are mad that he's the face of it.
No,
if it doesn't work, the president is mad. But the VP's
why would the
new
president
angle
be
in this
mad?
new sound that we have, it sounds like...
So that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would he say it's a no-win? Why would the president be mad at J.D. Vance if the deal doesn't go through? If the deal doesn't go through, it's because of the Iranians. It's not because of J.D. Vance.
Yeah, I mean, the president's still going to be upset that it didn't get done.
No. That's not what he's saying, though. What he's saying
I know. I'm
it's a
just saying
no-win
he
for
is going to be
J.D.
upset,
Vance. So is he just saying that the president's just going to be upset in general, or is he saying that he's going to be upset at J.D. Vance? That's why I'm not understanding what Doocy's saying, because...
I kind of took it as he was referring to the president's just going to be upset in general, maybe and upset that J.D. Vance wasn't able to come up, wasn't able to persuade them. Because if anybody can persuade, JD is the one. I mean, dude, he's really good at that.
Okay.
He's very good at, as you put it, debating, negotiating, conversating, whatever you want to call it. He seems to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, he is.
And of course the president's going to be disappointed. Honestly, I guess you could take that either way as far as Doocy goes, but I'm going to take it as I think the president will just be upset if it doesn't work out. Now, if it does work out, he is right about that. There are going to be some conservative.
But those are the neocons, rhinos.
I was going to say conservative rhinos.
Those aren't real conservatives. Those are just the neocon rhinos. Those aren't real conservatives.
Well, they're definitely not MAGA conservatives, that's for sure. But I mean, they would probably beg to differ with us on that. But I mean, and so what if they're mad, dude? I mean, most of them are getting primary, have been primaried out anyway,
right?
At least in the House of Representatives.
If this doesn't work out, it's really Israel's fault. Listen to this.
It's going to be something we're just going to have to continuously manage to ensure that Israel and Lebanon are both safe and secure. The big problem is that you have somebody will shoot and then somebody will respond, and you kind of have a chicken and egg problem where you just got to stop the siege for long enough to get the ceasefire to hold.
So how did Doocy get that he was blaming Israel anyway? That seems to me like he was saying it's on both of them.
I would think so, and not to mention, dude, Hezbollah
Isn't that the whole? Isn't that the
Yeah,
whole
but
chicken and the egg theory? You know, like
yeah, you got Hezbollah and Israel still shooting at each other.
it's like stop for as long enough to let us get this ceasefire going.
Yeah, both of them have to stop. But look what happened over the weekend. Hezbollah killed five Israeli soldiers, and or that's what they killed, 5 Israeli soldiers over the weekend. Correct?
I believe so.
So it's like what one's going to put the arms down, and then the other one will. They both have to put them down together. It's just they have to put them down together. Like, I agree with the vice president, man. If you don't have enough time to make it happen, to at least find out if you can, as long as you're shooting at each other, you're not negotiating anything. It's not rocket science. It's military science.
Right.
Is that a fair point? That really, if this all blows up, it's the Israelis?
No.
And
I
Hezbollah,
heard the chicken and egg.
I didn't hear
It's
that
not a
way
great
either.
analogy because Hezbollah is a terrorist occupying force in Lebanon. Israel had to go in and defend Israel's territory. The president has blessed that. I think the vice president I hope he's studying Ronald Reagan in Reykjavik in 1986, because sometime a disaster of a summit can turn into a big geostrategic political win. So if he walks away from Switzerland and said, these are idiots, these are lunatics, we can't deal with them, I think that increases his stock because that's the actual truth. We know that the IRGC and the mullahs are nuts and they're lunatics, as the president has said, as Secretary Rubio has said. So I think it could blow up, and to his advantage. What isn't to his advantage is blaming our closest ally, most important ally in the world, Israel, for any of this.
Yeah,
because
but
it's not their fault. It's
how-
Iranian terrorist proxy.
To say it's not their fault completely, no, you can't say that. Vance is absolutely right. This Howard whatever guy, no, he's wrong. Vance is right. This is on both, not just Lebanon, but this is also on Israel.
I agree with that, but it's also on Iran too, because their proxy,
Yep.
they are funding Hezbollah in Lebanon, which we were just talking about earlier.
Right.
And I know I mistakenly said Iran and Hezbollah,
Yeah.
but technically it is Iran and Hezbollah. It's not even a mistake. That's actually the truth.
Right.
I mean, they're funding them. They just happen to be in Lebanon, and again, they just killed 5 Israelis over the weekend, and
Yeah.
at some point or another, they both got to put them down at the same time, or nobody's putting anything down. It's as simple as that.
The Hezbollah that refuses to disengage.
And it seems like a part of Republican and
I think
Democratic
he's right
concerns
about
with this
that.
deal is giving
He could be,
Iran
but I still
money
think it's on
that
both
they
of them.
can maybe then use for
Oh,
anything.
yeah, but
I asked
one's-
President Trump about that
both
on
have to
Wednesday.
disengage.
Evian, listen to this.
The United States is not going to directly pay Iran, but the U.S. is going to let the Iranians start making billions of dollars, selling oil, accessing this reconstruction fund.
Only if they're doing things right. Only.
Right, and that's exactly what we mean. Trump's exactly right by saying only if they're doing things right. So we're not trying to just completely cut them off from any type of economic growth and just starve their country. We're just telling them you can't have nuclear weapons. What is
Right.
Peter not understanding about this?
And by saying you can't have nuclear weapons, they're also agreeing to give them the $350 billion back that we have suspended on them. And like you said earlier, it is their money.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, we'll get into that.
personally, I probably wouldn't give it back. If
Yeah.
I was the president, I wouldn't give it back. But I understand he's trying to negotiate a deal, so I get why. Why.
Peter, only if we're not doing anything.
Right.
We're not putting up money.
Explain, though, what the difference is between giving Iran U.S. dollars and unfreezing U.S. dollars.
Well,
It's very simple, Peter. Very, very
Yeah.
simple. Giving them our money would be taking money out of my pockets and giving it to them. We have their money froze up while we're in the middle of a conflict with them, with this Iranian bullshit that's going on. So we froze their money. It's theirs. We're giving it back to them. This is not rocket science, and Peter's very smart. So I don't understand where he doesn't get the common sense out of that.
I think he thinks we should keep the money too.
Unfreezing as the easy one.
That's what I think it is. That's what I think it is, Bert. I think he believes we should just keep the money because I know what Peter Ducey's thinking. He's probably thinking what a lot of people are thinking. They're going to just use that money to rebuild their military anyway. But again, when you're trying to negotiate and work out a deal is not one way. It has to be a win-win for everyone, or you don't have a deal.
Yeah.
Answer. We have taken a lot of their money, and we have their money. We have taken their money. It's not our money. It's their
It's
money.
theirs. Exactly.
Hugh, what do you think of that answer?
I agree with the president. I don't care what Hugh thinks. Who cares what Hugh thinks? What I think it's so weird. Like how I'll be like, well, wait, this doesn't make sense. For example, how I said, it's their money, and then the president said that, and like that's what I was thinking automatically. And then him asking the questions, it's like, come on, dude, you guys are freaking journalists that went to school to do this. I don't even go to school to do this, and my common sense kicked in and said exactly what Trump said.
And I agree to it. Like I said, I agree with you that it's their money, but I think I understand where Peter's coming from as far as like holding that money away from them. Again, he's probably afraid. I think he's afraid they're going to use it for the military. Now, I'm curious. I am curious to what Hughes actually has to say about it, or whatever his name is. You know what I mean? I actually am kind of curious. I have a feeling I'm going to disagree with him, but I do. I actually kind of want to hear what he says before we close out because I'd just like to know what he says. Let's hear what he says.
It's an illuminating exchange, Peter, as was the one at the end when he said, "I'll blame JD if it goes off the rails." When you asked him about that, what he's saying is there's a way for Iran to get their assets unfrozen. It would begin, for example, with the IAEA inspectors going into Pickaxe Mountain, which is the fourth big nuclear facility. It would begin if they simply stopped shooting and attacking the boats in the Strait of Hormuz like they did overnight. It would begin when they withdrew Hezbollah to north of Litani and get out of the grill of Israel. I don't think he's going to let anything get unfrozen until they've done all that. In the meantime, they can sell some oil if they've opened up the strait. That's about $5 billion a month. That's barely lunch money for the IRGC. So that's not giving them much. So I didn't take too much away from
I agree
the
with him.
MOU. I think it's halftime in this battle. I don't think we know which way it's going to go, but I don't think they're going to be getting rich off of the MOU, not in any way, shape, or form.
And
I don't disagree. Let's hear what Peter says.
something else that JD Vance is saying is that the U.S. is going to be, we heard this today, the U.S. wants to have new relations with the Iranians. He's making it sound like we could have a normal relationship with them.
What's wrong with that?
Do you think that there's a big appetite for that in the United States? A normal diplomatic relation?
I mean, is here Double D, like, I like Peter Ducey, right?
I do too, but I'm beginning to. Is he playing devil's advocate or is he serious?
I don't understand. Like, that is literally what peace is.
Yeah,
this is like what he's questioning Trump doing is he's questioning the definition of peace right now. It doesn't make any sense. Why are you questioning whether if we have a good relationship with Iran, that's a good thing?
I would think so, and I would think if we could get Iran,
nobody's saying we have to cater to them and we have to do all types of business with them. We could say, hey, we're cool, you're cool, all right, we're cool. That's literally what a good relationship with Iran could be.
I mean, I'll tell you what, up until 1979, Iran was a, profiting country. They had, they were like a tourist trap. People from all around the world. I mean, dude, and this went on for a century. I mean, this wasn't like it was just something that happened for a couple of years and then the Ayatollah came back in and it was all gone. No, they had that lifestyle for quite a while, for at least 3 or 4 generations. I would think they would want that lifestyle back, and they can earn that lifestyle back by not building any nuclear weapons. They get their money unfrozen. It's their money. They get it back. They can make an average of $5 billion a month, like he said, off of their own oil. That sounds like a win-win if they can make it happen. Now, again, I understand where Ducey's coming from, and he's playing devil's advocate. He probably thinks they're going to use, and he's probably right. Iran probably will use that $350 billion for something nefarious. But it is still their money, and we're trying to work out a deal. If we could work out a deal of peace so that Israel's not getting bombed by Hezbollah on a constant basis, maybe finally we could work something out between Israel and Gaza and put an end to the unrest in the Middle East altogether, because the peace has got to start somewhere.
I
right?
agree. I agree 1,000%. No, yeah,
am I
I
right
agree.
or wrong about that?
No, yeah, I agree 1,000%. I was just letting you go.
I wonder what the audience, what do you guys think? I mean, don't you think that do you think we should keep the money, or do you think we should give the money back if they agree? I think we should give it back if they agree, reluctantly.
Right, and
I'd
that's literally
rather
what Trump said.
keep it. I'd rather we keep it, but at the same time, who does that benefit then?
Yeah, that's literally what Trump said is as long as they comply and do everything that we're supposed to do, then that's when we'll unfreeze the money. But I feel like we pretty much covered everything we need to cover in this one.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, my only thing is I'd like the audience to maybe respond and tell us what they think, because I don't know. I don't even know if there's a right or wrong answer in this one. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I do know that when you're making a deal, compromise is the art of that diplomacy.
Exactly. Well, I just want to thank God, because without him, none of this is possible. I want to thank the audience. I want to thank Double D, and I want to thank my friends and family.
And as always, Bert, thanks for making the show happen every week as you do. Audience, thanks for sticking around, because if you're here to the end, as you know, we appreciate that, because you're the reason we're the reason. And most importantly, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for always allowing me to bring this message to you. And with all that, good night, y'all.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Peace.